There's been no way to connect with so many people ever. And in business, that's what we want to be able to do, get our offers and our services in front of new people on a regular basis. Today, we're talking about what people over 40 get wrong when using social media for business. Hi, my name is Pat, and I help people get clients. I've built multiple social accounts over the years, generating thousands of customers for different businesses. I had my first $26,000 day as a marketing coach on the back of a Facebook post that went viral. With my work, I've noticed there are things people my age and up usually get wrong when using social media. And if you're using social media for business, then you're going to want to hear these 6 things I'm going to share with you today, so you can compare your own behavior and see if there's any adjustments you need to make. And of course, the most important ones I've saved for the end, but when you hear this sound, that means that we're about to enter our lightning round. Straight up, we're talking about something that I see everywhere, whether it's my own clients or whether it's just scrolling social media and seeing what other people in business are doing, and that is treating your social posts like ads. I see this all the time, and I don't know who's teaching this stuff. Or maybe no one's teaching it, and it's just what people think they should be doing. But anyway, if your posts read like ads, is there any wonder why these kind of posts don't get that much engagement? There is a time and a place to have direct call to action posts in your feed, but most of your posts should just be interesting things. Gary Vee talks about this, jab, 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 right hook. I would say now we need to do more jab, 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 right hook, because we need to be giving more than we're expecting to take. So here's a little secret that's going to make everything so much easier for you. If you post interesting things on social, you will grow. And here's an even better secret. If you post interesting things on social that people want to comment on, then you're going to grow even faster. In other words, your audience grows because you're posting interesting stuff. That's it. If you're interesting, people will want to engage with your content. Some of them might even want to share it. And if you're posting interesting stuff most days of the week, then at least one day of the week you can post a call to action, and it's probably not going to negatively affect you. In fact, if you do a good call to action, and providing you're getting new subscribers or friends or followers every week, then you might even be able to get new leads every week directly from your social media feed. So take a second, go to your homepage, put yourself in your audience's shoes and look at your feed through your audience's eyes and think about it. Do your posts read like ads? Do they read like a person would really just post on social media, or is it kind of like an ad? Because if your posts read like ads, I'm sorry to say it, you're making yourself invisible to the marketplace. Preaching in your content. This one is dead simple. You, me, everybody that we know, no one wants to be preached to, especially when scrolling social media. So if you're preaching in your content, take some time out and just think, how can I get my message across to people without preaching to them? Because when you're preaching, you're hurting your business. A simple way to change your preachy ways is to take your message and instead of telling people what to do, then simply tell people what you do. This takes you out of the role of the guru and puts you into the role of someone, just another person, simply sharing what's worked for you. Remember, if you're preaching, you're making yourself invisible to the marketplace. Next up, we have chasing or trying to hack the algorithm by doing near superstitious activities when posting. Let's play a little game. Let's see how many of these things you've either heard or done yourself. Don't post links on social, you need to post them in the comments. Or don't use certain words in posts because you'll be penalized. Or you need to have a picture with every post. Or this one, you should have a selfie with your posts. Or this little gem, after you've posted, you need to engage with the feed for 30 minutes. Or maybe this one, before you've posted, you need to engage for 30 minutes. How about this corker? After you've posted, come back after 30 minutes and then you can add some links to your posts. Or this, if your post doesn't get likes in the first 2 hours, delete the post and post again. Or how about once you post, get some friends to comment on it. Speaking of comments, that comments need to be at least 5 words or more to get the algorithm going. How about joining comment pods so that everyone can comment when you post to really get the engagement going? What about this one? Liking your own post to get it going.
That'll get it started.
How about this time consumer? That you need to respond to all comments as fast as possible in the first 60 minutes, otherwise the algorithm will kill the post. This list of stuff goes on and on. Talk about shadow banning, all kinds of nonsense. Now, I'm not saying that these things are wrong, or that they're true, or that they don't happen, or that they do happen. That's not the point here. None of that matters. Because for every social hack that I just listed, I can find, and you can find, examples of the exact opposite being true. For example, don't post links on your Facebook post because Facebook will limit the reach. Sure, sounds good in theory. Maybe you've tested it and maybe you've experienced the same thing too. However, I've had posts that have done just fine with multiple links. And I'm sure you've seen posts with articles with thousands of comments on them. So the mistake here that I see people over 40 doing is focusing on this stuff, these hacks. Because focusing on these hacks as the reason why something is working or something is not working takes your eyes off the real prize here. And that prize, the goal, the objective is to just make interesting stuff. If it's interesting, your post will probably do well. And if it doesn't do well, who cares? Just move on, make another post that you think is interesting and get it out into the world. Trust me, over the years, I thought it was my job to help my clients, inform them about the fastest way to grow on social media. So I've tried all the hacks, I've done all of them, and I've found that playing the hacky game with these near superstitious behaviors, this is the fast track to burning out. And ultimately, what happens when you burn out? Well, if you burn out, you make yourself invisible to the marketplace. All right, lightning round time, rapid fire. Here are some simple tweaks to make getting customers on social easier. Don't have too many links on your profile. Just have one link and make that link go straight to your lead mechanism. If you really must have more than one link, make sure it's clear what it is and that the user has a clear understanding of what they are going to get when they click it. Make it clear who you help on your profile. If you sell kitchenware, make it clear. If you sell executive leadership coaching, make it clear. Have a logical next step for people who might want to work with you. Worst case scenario, ask people to DM you. Next worst case scenario, give them your booking link. But you should have something that makes it easy and logical for people to be able to reach out and work with you. Another classic mistake is spamming friend requests. Sending tons of friend requests will fill your audience with the wrong people and it will kill your reach faster than anything else. You don't need maximum friends, but what you do need is a handful of the right people finding you each week. And as long as you're posting interesting stuff, the right people will find you. Oh, another mistake, using pictures in your posts that don't have context. This creates a disconnect. It positions you as untrustworthy, the opposite of what you want. Speaking of pictures, yes, you can use selfies in posts, but make sure that the story in your post is relating directly to you. And if the story is not about you, then use all other pictures for stories not directly related to you. Post interesting stuff, but don't post the same stuff all the time. Think about music. Even if it's your favorite song, if it's played over and over and over again, you're going to get bored pretty quickly. So make sure that you're giving your audience different interesting things and don't repeat the same kind of post over and over again. And finally, limit the use of AI pictures in your posts. It can make you look like a brand or simply disingenuous. Number 4, not listening to what the feedback loop is trying to tell you. When you post on social, it's a two-way communication. So when you post on social, you wait and you see what happens to that post. What's the market trying to tell you? Most people say that they don't know what the market's trying to tell them, and that's why they're so confused. So this will help. Now, there are 3 main reasons that I can sort of see why people fail to hear what the market feedback loop is trying to tell them. The first reason is because they're repurposing the same content everywhere. So they'll put a post on Facebook and they'll use the same post and another picture on Instagram and vice versa. They'll use a story on TikTok and they'll take that story and they'll stick it onto YouTube. They're using the same stuff everywhere, and these are all different nuanced platforms. So the messages get very confused. You can't actually hear what the market's telling you. So repurposing your content without knowing that it's good content is one of the reasons why you can't hear what the marketplace is trying to tell you. The second main reason is because people are scheduling too many posts in advance. So people hear some advice, you should spend a Friday or a Saturday morning and do all your posts for the week and get them all lined up and have them all scheduled so they can all go out. That's fine, but if your content isn't working, you're going to have to wait 7 or 8 days before you recognize it's not working and you can look into it and try and figure out why it's not working. You've just wasted an entire week. You're way better off just doing one piece at a time. If you want to schedule stuff, just pretend that you're scheduling and have all your drafts lined up, ready to go. That way, it's Monday, you post. You wait and you see what happens. On Tuesday, you go, yesterday's post didn't work very well. With that information, how are you now going to adjust what you post on Tuesday? And you keep doing that feedback loop over and over again until you start to tune in. Like those old AM, FM dials. If you're old enough, you remember that. Well, if you're 40 or over, you probably do remember that. Remember dialing in, hearing it and going, and then finding the sweet spot. If you're scheduling, you don't get a chance to find the sweet spot and you just sound boring. And the third main reason is because you're not spending enough time on the platform, just natively playing with the platform so you can understand how it works. This means you're likely missing out on a lot of nuance. Now, I'm not saying that you should spend your Saturday morning for 4 hours trawling Facebook, or that you should spend every evening for 2 hours before you go to bed playing on Instagram. No, I'm talking about actively using the platform, looking into a Facebook group and going, why are people commenting on this post? Flicking across to Instagram's homepage and clicking and going, why are these posts here? Why are these things trending so hard? What's actually happening here? If you're spending your time just passively using social media, you're not really learning anything. In fact, you're sort of getting sucked into it, and that's terrible. You want to be actively using it, purposefully trying to figure out what's going on, what's the nuance that you're missing out on. And instead of doing this with all the platforms, just pick the one that you think your avatar hangs out on the most and that you like to use the most, and just spend your time there. Once you start to get your content working in one platform first, then you'll have the ability and the skill to be able to then map it out onto other platforms later. But just do one for now. Number 5 is allowing AI to make boring content. Now, I know there are AI fanboys and fangirls out there, but it is a fact. AI basically makes terrible content. I'm not saying not to use AI, go for it, because as a tool, it can really help you make some incredible content. But before you hit publish, just look at your post and ask yourself, is this interesting? Because the most important thing, which I hope you're understanding by now, is that you're posting interesting stuff. A simple thing I do before I post is I'll take a look at my post and I'll ask myself, does this picture make me want to stop scrolling? Or would this headline make me want to stop and read what's written just after it? Or how far down this post would I stop reading and just start scrolling on by? Because remember, boring content will make you invisible to the marketplace. Number 6, using social media as the center of your marketing strategy. Finally, and if you've made it this far, well done, because this is the most important one. Because if you're using social media for business, you're not doing it because you want to become an influencer. You're doing it because you want to make money. You want to get attention for your business because you want to make money. And I have empathy for this one because many people over 40, we saw social media become huge. We remember MySpace. We remember seeing it happening, and then different people got on different platforms, and it grew to the point where it almost made blogs and websites become kind of irrelevant. So we've seen a lot of change. We've seen people invest tons of energy into something only for it to fade away into significance. So it's only natural to think that the main social media platforms we have right now is where the attention is at, and so that's where we should be building our entire marketing strategy around. But these platforms are not ours. More and more of these social platforms are clamping down on reach. And if you don't have a better strategy than simply borrowing someone else's platform, you will eventually lose access to your audience, either slowly via attrition and declining reach, or quickly when you lose access to your profile, like what happened to me a couple of years back, or when other users simply start abandoning the platform for reasons that are outside of our control, such as Twitter being purchased by the richest man on earth and then him using it as a right-wing mouthpiece. Or like on Facebook, where the demographic is getting older and older, and as reach seems to go down, people are starting to abandon that as well. Or like on TikTok, where the government decides to bring the hammer down, and who the hell knows what's going to happen with that. So you must have your own platform to communicate with your audience. Otherwise, you're at risk of becoming invisible to the marketplace. Social media is many things, and it's different to everyone. I personally feel kind of indifferent towards social media. When I was growing my food Instagram account in New York City in the early days, as the wave of foodie influencers was taking off, I mean, that was really cool for me. I loved it. It helped me. I was a stranger in a new town, and it helped me meet new people, and it opened up some awesome doors, and I was able to have some incredible experiences because of that. I've used various platforms to grow different size audiences, to monetize, to get customers, to get clients, to advise larger companies on how they can use social media with an ad strategy, on how they can use it with their blog strategy, all different ways of using social media. And it's been really great, but it's also been quite negative and been pretty damaging to different parts of my mental health. And I'm quite happy to not even open up a social media app for weeks at a time. I lost my Facebook account years ago, as I mentioned, and not having Facebook, and I wasn't using Instagram either, I kind of didn't use any social media apps for a good 2 years, and it was fantastic. But the thing is, in business, if we're smart about it, we can use these tools to our advantage. After all, we're not kids anymore. We can figure out how we can and can't use these things and if they're affecting us negatively, because the connectivity that's provided, that we have access to, is really quite incredible. There's been no way to connect with so many people ever. And in business, that's what we want to be able to do, get our offers and our services in front of new people on a regular basis. Now, if this video has made you rethink a little bit about what you're doing with social media, and perhaps maybe if your business is a little bit too dependent on it, then you're going to love this next video. It's about what to do to build your own reliable communication channel with your audience. I'll see you in the next video.